What an exciting morning out here on the homestead. We've got the heavy equipment out here because honestly, friends, if you let things get away from you on your property for a little too long, they get grown up and you just can't take care of them properly anymore. And we want to clear this entire thing out. Get rid of all this underbrush so we can start growing more food for the family. You saw that in the last video. This machine is awesome. This is my buddy Josh, and he's got a Forestry Mulcher on the front of a skid steer. So that is exciting. We're gonna show you what we're doing. We're gonna take out a lot, show you the things that we're cleaning up, and get this taken care of quickly. I gotta be careful standing out here because this Forestry Mulcher will throw things a long distance. Those wood chips are flying out 30, 40 feet in front of it. I'm gonna back up as he's coming straight towards me here. Look at it just tear through there. That's amazing. In the meantime, I am going to get the chainsaw back out and I'm going to take care of some of the bucking of these big trees that I couldn't get done the other day before he got here. We got the chainsaw. We're just going to cut things up into a good length because we're going to use all of those trees that are too big for him to grind. We're going to use them as a backstop for an alleyway that you use fun toys on, if you know what I'm talking about. Once I can get him to slow down for a few minutes, I'm going to see if he'll let me drive it. And I've never used a Forestry Mulcher, but this might be the first time. Yellow snow in the spring in Texas. Look at the pollen that comes off all these pine trees in East Texas. It's pretty amazing. Look at this. He is making quick work of this. I took down all these trees the other day, but he's just chopped up all around it. You can see how open things are. It's so beautiful. We're gonna get a lot of beautiful sun down in here finally and be able to move around and hopefully build that cabin sometime soon. Look at this thing. What is this? An FAE Forestry Mulcher on a Case TV 450B, TV 450B. I can't believe how fast you have cleared that. That has been maybe a half an hour, give or take, on that portion behind over here, this whole big portion, probably a quarter acre.
A long time with a machete.
Yeah, it would have taken me forever with a chainsaw and a pole saw and a machete, that's for sure. We have a stand of 4 little pine trees or 5 little pine trees right here. They're small enough for him to take out with the Forestry Mulcher. I've never seen that happen. He can actually stand it up, grind them, and push them over at the same time. That's pretty impressive. So he's gonna try to tip them out over in this area and keep them away from the orchard. Going to try to push this one completely over, chopping at the base, and that's way easier than using my chainsaw. Look at the pollen coming off this thing. Wish I could get in front of him for a shot, but there's no way. Look at that thing go over. That is amazing. Then he's just going to take on the top of the tree and mulch all the limbs. Way easier than limbing and bucking that I've been doing for a week.
buddy's letting me drive this. I don't know if this is a good idea or not. What do you think?
We're gonna push to operate. Got a fancy computer screen up here. The entire readout.
Now you're going to turn on the mulcher.
Turn on the mulcher this way.
Yeah.
All right. I see my gauge out here.
Now you're going to turn up those RPMs all the way to rabbit. All the way up.
We want to... All right, our mulcher's spooling up.
All right, now shut this window and go low.
All right. Wish me luck. I'm going to start taking out some of this scrubby, nasty stuff along our dry creek and see what I can do. This is the first time I've ever driven a skid steer. So I'm going to raise it up a little bit and we're going to go in here. I got to watch the RPMs on that thing. And here we go. I'm just taking out these little tiny things and seeing how far I can get through here, clear this out. This is a ton of fun. I could do this all day. It's air conditioning here too. Wow. How amazing is that? But I want to get this nasty garbage brush. Josh is filming me. Hopefully it'll pick up the audio. I'm going to take out all these nasty vines. If you can hear me, he's using this thing like a stump grinder. I guess if the tree stump is small enough, you can just eat it up with that forestry mulcher. That's crazy. Wow. Wow, would you look at this? This is only halfway done. We are really doing a lot of clearing. It is fascinating to see it like this. It's so open. I've never had this perspective before because it's always been grown up and overgrown even since I bought it. You can imagine how bad it's gotten over the last 7+ years that I've been here, and I just haven't maintained the edges. I just maintained the center here where the fruit trees are and where the new plot is and up near the pecan trees. But you don't realize sometimes actually how big your land is until you open everything up, and it's going to get even more open. Like I said, we're going across the dry creek onto the other side and clearing that out. We're going to be able to see this property from the south property, which is going to be amazing because actually I've never seen through from the back of the house over here before because it is just way too overgrown, or it was until just a few minutes ago. This has all happened in about 4 hours. Now I have no idea how much it is to rent one of these. I'm going to pay my friend, but he's my friend, so he's not going to want payment, but I'm going to give him some money for it. I think I heard somebody say that if you hire somebody, it's about $2,000 a day to do something like this, which is crazy expensive. But if you only do it once to clear your property, then I guess that's not too bad if you bought raw land. But if you're doing it all the time because you can't maintain it, yeah, you might want to maintain it a little bit better. In my case, I should have maintained it better. The way that we're tackling these live trees that are too big for the mulcher attachment to grind up and knock over is I'm putting a notch in them and a small back cut. He's just gonna push them over and then grind them up and do what he's doing now. So this little pine tree behind me is not so little. It's about 15 inches at the base. Should have put more of a back cut. Now he's got to grind that stump a little bit. Well, friends, look behind me. Just a few days ago, you couldn't see the first 15 feet of any of the trunks of these large trees. It was completely overgrown with small trees, with vines, with brush, with bushes, all of it. And now it is completely clear. It only took us a day and a half to do 5 acres. And that includes cutting down some of the trees with that mulcher attachment, some of the 8-inch trees. I think we probably did maybe 10 of them like that. This is incredible. For the past few years, I have not been able to even walk here. Look at this beautiful cedar tree right here. Well, right next to it, this is what can happen. Look at all of these vines that are hanging. There's probably 50 or 60 vines that had grown up and started attacking just this cedar tree. It's kind of odd. They like to climb up cedar trees the most. But we chopped that off as high as we can get it, and now we're saving this beautiful cedar. You can see some of these vines are still here, but they are cut off at the base, so I don't have to worry about them. And these can get quite big very fast. Actually, I'll show you one that's like from the movie Tarzan. It's at the base of this tree down here. We couldn't quite get it. I'll probably get it with the chainsaw. But look at the size of that vine. That's what can happen in these East Texas woods. I'm not sure if that big one is a grape or not, but it's certainly not one of those thorny vines. And I don't know the name of those thorn vines, but they are nasty. And if you don't have some sort of machinery to take them out, they're kind of difficult to get out because those thorns are about 1 inch long and they can gash you pretty bad. Look at this wide open space here. None of this was clear before except for a little path down past that blue barrel to a backstop that I built. And all of it was overgrown. Now I can do something under here, and this will be fantastic. The girls are having a ton of fun playing in all the new unexplored territory that they didn't have for the past few years. They're walking across a log that has fallen across the dry creek, having fun playing on the bridge. Here's this giant backstop now that I've made, and you can see how tall it is. It's a little taller than me, maybe 6.5 feet tall. But it is just so open now. It's so nice. Now the trick is to maintain it, and that is getting the mower out here and the brush hog on the tractor and taking care of it all the time. Because if it gets overgrown, those two pieces of equipment just aren't enough to handle it. Of course, here's the orchard as it stands for the past couple years, and taking down that stand of pine trees just to the south of it, it's going to let a lot more light in here, which is good for it. I don't know if you can see the color of this dirt on camera here, but this is unusual for East Texas. Usually it's hard red clay or a really sandy loam on top, but I guess this area has been revitalized for so long and not planted on, and enough leaves were falling on it that it has really enriched the soil. It's nice and dark right there. It's also pretty dark up in this area, which is fantastic because this is where in the next week or two I'm going to be planting a lot more grapes and blueberries. The only trick to doing that is getting water up here, so I'm going to have to devise some sort of system to get them water, and I haven't quite figured that out yet. Just down there I do have an irrigation line that comes across from the other property, but it does have some cracks in it, and it is probably about 600 feet away from our well. So hopefully our pump is strong enough to pump it over here. I did have some pressure a couple years ago before it cracked, and I just didn't fix it because the trees didn't really need water anymore. But now that line is going to have to supply water for the new garden plot up here and also for those grapes and blueberries. But look at that, you can see down to the dry creek and then up the other side to the house. I haven't been able to see the house from this position ever, pretty much. It's always been overgrown in that space. So if you're looking to clear your property, hire someone to do this. This thing can do a lot. It can clear things really fast. Yeah, it can get a little expensive, but it's well worth it in my opinion. Now go check out this video right here, which shows you how we are starting the garden plot that's just on the other side of this machine. Have a beautiful, blessed day. See you next time. Bye.